Kings Mountain International Fire Safety and Emergency Evacuation Training. Close your eyes. Do you know where the closest fire exit is right now? Do you know what to do if there's a fire? Run? There's much more to do than run. Do you know where the appropriate fire extinguishers and telephones are located? If there is a fire, you'll react on instinct, and if you're not prepared, you will run and unnecessarily expose life and property to danger. If the entire plant runs, it will burn to the ground. Most likely, the majority of you will not punch in the next day. We depend on this facility to support us, so you should be prepared to deal with a fire. Do not forget, your life is a number one priority. Fire is among the most deadly of workplace hazards and the most preventable of accidents. It is to your benefit to know about fires and what to do if one should erupt. This training segment will review fire safety and prevention, portable fire extinguishers, and KMI's evacuation procedures. Fire triangle. For fire to exist, three things must be present: oxygen, heat, and fuel. All three must exist, and when they do, there's a chemical reaction called fire. If you take one of those elements away, no fire. There are 5 types of fires based on the type of fuel. Wood and paper is an A-class fire. Flammable liquids, which is a B-class fire, could involve liquids such as gas, oil, paints. Electrical, which is a Class C fire. Metal, which is a Class D fire and involves combustible metals and metal alloys like titanium, we run at KMI. And grease, which is a Class K fire, could be animal or vegetable grease. Depending on the type of fire you use a certain type of extinguisher. For Class D fires, you must use a Class D extinguisher. To use something else will only make the fire worse. There are very serious hazards associated with chemical fires. These catch fire very easily. They are flammable. They cause serious damage when toxic and corrosive compounds are released into the air. A chemical fire is reactive, meaning it can undergo a chemical reaction under certain conditions, such as being exposed to water or air. Finally, chemical fires can be explosive and result in more serious devastation. There are fire hazards in the workplace of which we all need to be aware. Smoking areas, various systems like HVAC, electrical equipment, static electricity, hot work areas, flammable and combustible liquids and gases, storage packed with cardboard items or paper, and overstuffed waste cans. These are possible fire hazards which require every employee's attention and care. Poor housekeeping also lends itself to fire hazards, such as blocking aisles and exits and fire extinguishers, storing or disposing of boxes and paper near ignition sources, failing to clean up chemical spills and oil immediately, or failing to close fire cabinet doors. Housekeeping is important. Hot work is a process that can be a source of ignition when flammable material is present or can be a fire hazard regardless of the presence of flammable material in the workplace. Common hot work processes are welding, soldering, cutting, and brazing. Hot work should always be performed in a safe location with all fire hazards removed or covered. Guards should be used to confine the heat and sparks. Do not perform hot work where flammable vapors or combustible materials exist. Additional personnel should be assigned to guard against fire while hot work is being performed, and they should remain there for 30 minutes after the work is complete. Any hot work should be at least 35 feet from any debris or flammable or combustible materials. When you dispense flammable liquid from a container such as a 55-gallon drum, it should be grounded. You can see the grounding strip is laying on the ground and is not attached to a grounding rod. Keep in mind that the grounding rod should be driven through the floor into the ground. This eliminates the hazard of static electricity igniting the liquid. Drums should be connected to a grounding system. This eliminates static electrical buildup when dispensing from the drum. If your plant does not have a drum storage room, drums should be stored in a safety cabinet. They are available in sizes to hold drums vertically or horizontally. There are 5 types of fires based on the type of fuel. Wood and paper is an A-class fire. Flammable liquids, which is a B-class fire, could involve liquids such as gas, oil, paints. We have a variety of fire extinguishers at KMI, and we'll take a look at each one. You'll also have some hands-on training to familiarize yourself with the proper use of certain extinguishers. KMI has a halon extinguisher located in the front office. This type of extinguisher is used for valuable electrical equipment because they leave no residue to clean up. Halon extinguishers have a limited range, usually 4 to 6 feet. Like other extinguishers, the initial application of halon should be made at the base of the fire. Continue applying the halon even after the flames have been extinguished. When you dispense flammable liquid from a container such as a 55-gallon drum, it should be grounded. You can see the grounding strip is laying on the ground and is not attached to a grounding rod. Keep in mind that the grounding rod should be driven through the floor into the ground. This eliminates the hazard of static electricity igniting the liquid. Multi-purpose dry chemical extinguishers are used on Class A, B, and C fires. Remember, those are wood or paper, flammable liquids, and electrical. Dry chemical extinguishers leave a mess to clean up and can damage electrical equipment. But if it is all that's available, use it. Notice that the dry chemical has a small horn nozzle. Class D fire extinguishers, the bright yellow canister, or the large red wheeled units, are for fires related to flammable metals. At KMI, that would be the primarily used titanium plates we grind. It is not uncommon for small fires to start during that process due to the swarf or metal shavings of titanium that grinding produces. The shavings or metal dust is often left in or on the machine, and a spark can result in a small fire. These fires must be extinguished with a Class D extinguisher. Finally, KMI has a purple K fire extinguisher. These are commonly used in oil refineries, airport ramps, service stations, military facilities, naval warships, power plants, and other places where large volumes of flammable liquids are handled. The K extinguisher is located in the titanium swarf area, aka Harris filter, due to the flammable liquid associated with our grinding process. A coolant mixture is used to prevent the plate from overheating. This mixture has petroleum in it and is therefore flammable. There is a right way and a wrong way to use a fire extinguisher and it be effective. Using the pass method to fight a fire. Pull the pin. Some extinguishers have a cartridge you need to push. Stand back 8 feet. Aim at the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle to release the extinguishing agent. Sweep at the bottom of the fire with the extinguishing agent. If you aim high at the flames, you won't put out the fire. You will receive a copy of this diagram showing you where all the different types of extinguishers are located throughout the plant. Be sure to learn, based on your assigned work area, where the nearest appropriate extinguisher is located. There are times when employees should not attempt to fight a fire. Those include the following. The fire is already large or has grown beyond its original confined area, your escape path is threatened, or you're not sure if your fire extinguisher is the right type for your fire. Poor housekeeping also lends itself to fire hazards, such as blocking aisles and exits and fire extinguishers, storing or disposing of boxes and paper near ignition sources, failing to clean up chemical spills and oil immediately, or failing to close fire cabinet doors. Housekeeping is important. If an unsuccessful fight of the fire may block your escape, do not do it. Exit the area immediately, making sure you alert employees and the supervisor or emergency coordinator. Your life is more important than the equipment. We cannot replace your life. There will be a list of emergency contacts posted on the bulletin board. Please be sure you have the phone numbers in your cell phones. The designated person or notifier will announce something like Emergency Fire Alert at Grinder 108. When you hear the page that there's a fire, listen carefully for the location. If it's a small fire, the announcement will not mean exit the building. It does mean get ready to evacuate. If it is a fire we cannot fight, the announcement will indicate an evacuation of the building is necessary. A loud air horn will also be sounded indicating evacuation is required. Make sure your coworkers understand what is being announced or paged. KMI uses the buddy system where each employee looks out for his buddy, making sure he or she gets out of the building. Maintenance may try to eliminate the fuel to the fire. Close the doors leading to the area if possible. If the fuel is electricity, the electrician will try to turn it off. If the fire cannot be extinguished, go to the nearest exit and activate the fire alarm pull box on the alarm handle. Whoever talks to 911 must give clear information concerning the fire. Typical information includes the following: the address, which is Kings Mountain International, 1755 South Battleground Avenue, North Carolina, 28086. What do we do? Metal fabrication and refinishing. And are there any injuries? The automatic sprinkler system is located throughout the plant and is designed to extinguish or control large fires. Each sprinkler head in the system is equipped with a heat-sensitive plug that melts as the temperature rises, allowing water to sprinkle the affected area. An audible alarm and strobe lights will begin as soon as the sprinklers are on. Fire triangle. For fire to exist, three things must be present: oxygen, heat, and fuel. It is important to shut down your machine using the normal shutdown procedures. Do not risk your life to shut down a machine. If you are prepared, you should have time. If you have any questions on the safest and quickest way to shut down your equipment, please see your supervisor. Maintenance may try to eliminate the fuel to the fire. Close the doors leading to the area if possible. If the fuel is electricity, the electrician will try to turn it off. If the fire cannot be extinguished, go to the nearest exit and activate the fire alarm pull box on the alarm handle. An official from the fire department will notify the emergency coordinator or notifier when the building is safe to re-enter. No one may return to the building until the fire department announces an all clear. Maintenance personnel are responsible for any salvage operations. You should have received this layout in your orientation materials. Get familiar with the layout and your work area. Determine the best and fastest route to an exit from where you work. The only time these cabinets should be open or unlatched is when you are changing out a drum, dispensing product from a drum to a smaller container, getting a product out of or putting a product in one. The fire safety cabinets must be kept closed and latched. You may find fire cabinets in nearly every department. It is important to shut down your machine using the normal shutdown procedures. Do not risk your life to shut down a machine. If you are prepared, you should have time. If you have any questions on the safest and quickest way to shut down your equipment, please see your supervisor. These bottles indicate they contain a flammable liquid and therefore should be stored at all times when not being used in a flammable cabinet. One of these pictures has a bottle with a flammability of 3, and it should always be put away when not in use. The other has a trash can in front of a fire hydrant. Always unblock an extinguisher if discovered. The upper left picture is of the area where titanium swarf is located behind the building. The other pictures are of the hoppers where the swarf is collected from the machines. An accumulation of fine dust in the air combined with an ignition source can result in an explosion. Generally, an explosion of dust will stir up more dust and result in multiple explosions. It is very important to keep work areas clean.